If you think saving $20,000 fast on a low income is impossible, then you're doing it completely wrong. So in this video, I'm going to give you the exact blueprint that you can use to save $20,000 fast on a low income. So we're going to start with step one, which is actually fixing your mindset. Now, as basic as this might sound, that's where everything starts. Because if you don't believe it, then you can't achieve it. Fix your mindset first, because that's what's going to help you to take this goal seriously. Think about all the sacrifices that you are willing to take in order to make this goal achievable. Remember, don't get discouraged because this will not be forever. You're trying to meet a goal and you're going to make drastic sacrifices for a few months in order to make this goal achievable. Now, the next thing I want you to do is to actually set a deadline. What is the date that you want to save this money by? Now, when you're setting up your deadline, I want you to take into consideration your actual income and your actual goals as well. Having a solid plan and setting up systems will actually make this possible. The next thing I want you to do is to actually pay yourself. Okay, now I want you to do this first before you consider anything else in your life, any other expenses. I need you to pay yourself. Let's say, for example, your monthly expense is $1,000 and your income is $1,200. That $200 that's left, I want you to pay yourself and put that in a completely separate savings account. Now, once we've done that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to automate it. Whatever your employer, whatever portal they use, you're going to log into that portal and transfer that $200 to automatically be deposited into your savings account. When we do this, we're not thinking about that extra money. That $200 that's going to be deposited into the account, we're going to treat it like a bill. It must be done, and we're not going to touch it at all. We're going to automate it and we're going to forget about it. We're going to forget that this thing exists. The next thing I want you to do is to consider your top 3 categories. What are you spending the most amount of money on? And usually for 95% of people, that's usually housing, transportation, and food. Like, y'all, do you see how much people are spending on food every single year? Even if you're meal prepping, food still comes out to a lot. Now, let's go back to housing. Usually for most people, housing takes majority of their income. So what is your plan? If you want to save that $20,000 on a low income and you're making less than $50,000 per year, you have to go and make drastic decisions. Now, one of them is maybe you want to move cities. Maybe you want to downsize your apartment. Maybe you can actually stay with a family member for a few months until you can actually save that money in order to meet that goal. Maybe another thing you might want to do is if you spend $500 on groceries every single month, try to find ways to cut that in half. Maybe try to shop at a different grocery store, compare prices, use coupons. Because I promise you that if you really consider your top 3 categories and you find ways to move things around, you will save this $20,000 in no time, even on your low salary, even on your low income. Next, I want you to find ways to actually make extra money. Find ways to make extra money. Pick up a weekend side hustle. And if not, go ahead and ask for overtime at your job. Remember, all this is temporary. You have a deadline. You're only doing this for a few months. So if you're not willing to put in all that hard work for a few months, I'm sorry, but this might not be possible for you. Pick up a part-time job, do some customer service gig. And that goes into my next point, which is let's call it a surprise money. All right, when I say surprise money, I mean things that are not guaranteed, but it happens. For example, a bonus. Maybe your job gives you a bonus at the end of the year. Another example would be your tax refund. It is the end of January at the time I'm recording this video, so I know all of you, or let's say a high percentage of you, are expecting to get a tax refund from, your W-2, hopefully. that money you could actually put aside instead of spending it and using it for other things in your life. Just go ahead and set that aside in order to accelerate getting that $20,000 fast. Even simple things like cashbacks from your credit card. If you put every single penny into savings from cashbacks, from bonuses, from your tax refund, from gifts, from any overtime, you will get to that 20K in under 12 months. Now, the next thing is I want you to just don't upgrade, okay? Oh my God, my handwriting. Yeah, it's not looking pretty right here. I know the latest iPhone is out and everyone wants to upgrade. I know your car is 10 years old and you want to upgrade to that latest car. I know, I get it. But if your goal here is to achieve financial freedom, if your goal here is to pay off debt, for whatever your goal is regarding saving, you need to make sacrifices. And that includes not upgrading. Next, I want you to check weekly progress. Now, I want you to check your weekly progress simply because I want to make sure that by your deadline, you're on target, okay? If you're not checking your weekly progress, then you might just be there chilling, thinking you're doing great, but when the deadline is closing in or getting closer, you've realized that you're actually further away from your goal than you think. And that I don't want to ever happen to you. A nice system would be an Excel spreadsheet, which I actually have linked in the description box below. It's a budgeting Excel sheet that's completely free that will help you to stay on track every week and every month. That way you can meet your goal in no time. And a bonus tip. I'm going to give you guys a bonus tip, and that bonus is to attach that $20,000 to a goal. And why I want you to do this is I don't want you to just think of it as, oh, I'm trying to save 20K, because when you do that, there's not much motivation. There's not a reason. You need a reason as to why you started in the first place. So what you're going to do is attach that $20,000 to a goal. Are you trying to pay off debt? Are you trying to start a business? Are you trying to save an emergency fund? Because you need an emergency fund regardless of, how much money you're making. What if you get laid off? What if an emergency happens? More than half of the US population right now cannot cover a $1,000 emergency, and that's sad. So just think of your why, your reason for doing this, and it will happen. That alone is enough motivation than just simply saying, I'm gonna save 20K. Think of it as, I am going to save $20,000 in 12 months in order to go on that elaborate vacation, or in order to pay off debt, in order to save for an emergency fund. You know your why, and I wish you all the best on that journey. Go ahead and check out this video right here, and I'll see you in the next one.